We're starting the Beis Amar Aleph Sukkah Shehi Gavoya Lamala Me'esrim Amma.
You'd be if he's here. We got everyone.
I know he's up. He's still coming. No, he's coming. No.
I went to Florida. I heard the snow's coming.
No. He doesn't be here.
That's what's coming.
It's got to be. I said one seat empty, but he noticed an empty seat. It's Nishpashit. Okay, Sukkah Shehi Gavoya Lamala Me'esrim Amma. This is jumping right into it. We're handling the Dinei Sukkah. Sukkah Shehi Gavoya Lamala, Sukkah that is higher than 20 amis. It means the schach is higher than 20 amis. I don't have my. I don't know if the Elam saw yesterday. I brought in a tape measure. I don't know if everyone saw it. There was a tape measure that they put out, which had the Shitas Chazanish, Shitas Reb Chaim Nah of Tvachim of Amos. One day we'll come in and we'll take a see the shiurim how the 7x7, the 6x6. Sukkah Shehi Gavoya Lamala Me'esrim Amma. A sukkah that is taller than 20 amas high, Pesula. That's possible. Rabbi Yehuda says that that's okay. He says that's still kosher.
Station thing you need to do?
No, we'll see in the Gemara. The Gemara gets very busy with this machlekes.
You couldn't go ahead.
I did go ahead just now. I'm about to jump the gun.
No, Chaim started the third parak. You didn't know we're going to the first.
It's true.
V'she'ena gavoya. So that's one. Then if I say one in the Mishnah, a sukkah is higher than 20 amas, pesula, it's possible. Rabbi Yehuda machshir. Period. Rabbi Yehuda says it's kosher. The Gemara is going to explain the whole machlekes. It gets very busy with that. Next din, that's din number 2. V'she'ena gavoya asar tvachim. And first we discussed how high it could be, but now we're discussing how low. If it's not 10 tvachim tall, right? V'she'en lo shalish tefanis.
2 kgs or 1 kg?
It's first din is a machlekes. There's one din we bring down higher than 20 amas. That's a machlekes. Now we're going to speak of 3 separate dinim that there's no one arguing about. Everyone agrees that v'she'ena gavoya asar tvachim. If you have a sukkah that's not 10 tvachim tall, v'she'en lo shalish tefanis. Or if it doesn't have 3 walls, sukkah we know has to have 3 walls to be kosher. Or v'shechamasa meruba mitzilasa. If the sunlight is
under.
What do you mean under?
On the ground.
V'shechamasa meruba mitzilasa b'sula. And if the sunlight is more than the shade b'sula. If the sunlight is more than the shade in the sukkah, it's possible. Okay. So the Mishnah, the Mishnah says one din that's a machlekes, the height, how high you can go, 3 dinim afterwards that everyone agrees to. The height, and it has to be at least 10 tefachim tall. It has to have 3 walls, and at
least 3 walls.
What?
Or Shimon holds 4.
Thank you.
This is what we learned. We had Shidduch of Shimon also. We had Rabbi Yehuda Sukkah Diras Kva, and then we have Shimon, and the Shimon that also holds that Sukkah Diras Kva. Rashi pointed out because he also needs 4 walls. The fourth thing in the Mishnah that you have more sunlight than shade. Gavaldik. Zok the Hilak Gemara. Tanan Hossam. We learned over there in Erevin. This is in Erevin.
Same Mishnah as the 2 mavos?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the same Mishnah, Taka. I'm not sure. But it's a discussion of a mavoi. I wanted to speak out for a minute what mavoi is. Rabbi said it's going to come up later on also. It's important to have color. It comes up a lot. And the way things worked was you have one central, a mavoi is called let's call it a central courtyard. It's really a courtyard, but it's a central courtyard because there are many private yards that open up to this big courtyard. Right? You have a big courtyard in the middle, and then you have many private yards all around and opening up to this. Everyone has a house, a private yard, and that private yard opens up to this to the mavoi. Mavoi is a central courtyard. So picture a mavoi as a dead end, right? A dead end alleyway. It's surrounded by 3 walls, closed up by 3 walls, and it's open to the fourth side. Okay? There's 2 big issues with a mavoi, and they're separate issues, related but separate issues.
Bunch of people.
For you, let's say you live, again, a mavoi is everyone has a house, a yard, and in front of the yard there's a central courtyard, right? That everyone shares. Okay? You are not allowed to carry, you are not allowed to carry from your yard to the mavoi, or from your yard, and certainly from your yard to someone else's yard, because you have to go through the mavoi. these are dina d'Rabbanan, and you have to make some sort of hecker. We'll talk about it, maybe, or you can make something called an erev. That's called an erev shitei mavoy, erev chatzeros. Excuse me, erev chatzeros. I'm not going into that right now, but that is really where basically what they do is everybody chips in for food and puts a certain amount of food in one person's yard, and that kind of makes it that everyone's living out of one yard. So you're not really going from private property to private property. I don't want to get into that right now because that's not relevant for what we're doing right now. What we need to know is that there's another issue that the Rabbanan were concerned. Everybody's sharing this private courtyard. It's very easy that someone can just take he's holding a soda bottle. He's going to walk. He's carrying through the courtyard, and there's 30 people walking here, and without realizing, he'll just walk right into the Rosh Hashanah. Right? Again, the fourth side is open, correct? So everybody have families walking in and out, right? And the guy's going to shul. He grabs something, he's holding on something. He doesn't chop. He just walked out. We walked out of the mavoi from the courtyard to the Rosh Hashanah, right?
So why I need to have a hacker?
Oh, so the Rabbanan were afraid. The Rabbanan did not want to allow. The Rabbanan did not want to allow everybody to carry in this courtyard. The Rabbanan said you cannot carry in this courtyard unless you have a hacker. What's a hacker? A hacker is something that's that people will notice, something that people notice, and that will remind them. Oh wait, the Rosh Hashanah is a separate area. So what they would do is at the entrance to this mavoi. Again, you're walking in from Rosh Hashanah to the mavoi. Mavoi is a big shared courtyard, right? A mavoi is a shared courtyard. They would have something called a lechi. A lechi is a tall stick that they put on the side, okay? On the side of one of the walls. They'll stand the pole straight up. And you're walking, you're like, oh, you're reminding yourself, there's two separate properties here. Or they have something called a kaira. Remember we discussed, a kaira is a beam. And that beam is what we're going to talk about right now. That beam reminds people, it's a reminder. A hacker is a reminder. I'm walking from the private property, even though, again, the mavoi, everyone in the courtyard sharing. But it's not Rosh Hashanah. It's only for the people that live there. You have a complex, everybody shares the yard, but it's not for everyone at Rosh Hashanah. It's still just for the people that live there. So if you want to carry in that courtyard, you have to have something called a lachi or a kaira. So our Mishnah is going to discuss right now.
So there's two things. One being stocked if all of them. And then
Exactly. There's two separate issues here. The first issue I didn't get into so much, and that is to join all the courtyards. That's so you can carry from Shita, right? That's just so you can carry from your house to the courtyard. But let's say I'm in the courtyard. Can I carry something in the courtyard? Can I pick this up in the courtyard and carry it? No. Because Rabbanan were afraid if we have tons of families here, it looks like 20 people are here, and you're not going to chap. You walk straight into Rosh Hashanah. Is that clear? Just this the
That's the courtyard, right? When you walk out.
This is the mavoi. These are individual courtyards.
So could I carry my courtyard from my house to my courtyard?
Yes, that's your private property. If you want, you can jump to the back. It's important just to get this clear on the first page of the pictures. Look at picture Dalit. Really, just jump to picture Dalit because that's it. You see picture Dalit, right? Picture Dalit. Adam has it.
No?
Yeah, here in a chanami, you're right. Or Zayin and a Ches. So you have everybody has a small house on the side. Those houses.
One is the kaira, one's the lechi.
Right. So a picture Zayin is called a lechi, and that's a post on the side. Right? You have this post on the side, and that people realize, wait, I'm going to walk out from my property into Rosh Hashanah. I got to stop carrying. And then you have something called a kaira. Kaira is on top. And that's what we're going to discuss right now. If that kaira, how high that kaira can be, because remember, that kaira has to be a something which people can recognize, can a reminder. So how high can it be? If you want a reminder, you can't have it that high. Says the Gemara, Tanan Hasim, we learned in the Mishnah in Erevin. Mavoi. And add on the top, that the kaira, shu gavoya. What's shu gavoya? That it's taller. What's taller? The kaira, which is the beam. The beam that goes across the mavoi. The entrance to the mavoi. It's the kaira, which is the beam that goes across the entrance to the mavoi. Mavoi, if you have a mavoi, shu gavoya, that the kaira. And what's the kaira? The kaira is the beam that goes across the entrance. Shu gavoya me'esrim amma. If that beam, shu gavoya me'esrim amma, if that beam is taller than 20 amas, yema'et. You should lower it. Lower it down. The Mishnah there continues. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, it says, Einay tzarech. You don't have to. Period. That's the end of that Mishnah. Klar? The Gemara now asks, Ma'ishna, what's unique, Gabi Sukkah, regarding Sukkah, to Tani Pasula? That we just taught, that we use the word Pasula. Pasula means, no, Pasul. It's Pasul. O Ma'ishna Gabi Mavoi, and what's unique about Mavoi, the Tani Takanta, that we teach Takanta is the way to fix it, right? Takanta, what's to fix it, right? It's a solution. You know, you call it. Why is it that we teach you a way to fix it, and I won't say pasul? Sukkah, the Mishnah says, if it's higher than 20 amos, psula.
What are you going to do? Lower the things within the schach?
Lower the schach?
Lower the Sukkah, yeah.
And lower the walls.
No,
Lower everything.
No, lower the schach.
You lower the schach?
It doesn't. The walls don't necessarily need to touch the
You're
schach.
getting very technical there. You just lower the Sukkah.
Okay.
How do you attach it to the Sukkah? Lower the Sukkah.
Ma'ishna Gabe
I
Mavoi.
see it now.
The Gemara saying, what's
You're right,
unique?
it might be
What's
hard
unique
to
about a
build a
Mavoi?
new
The
thing.
Tani Takanta that we taught the. I'm sorry. Ma'ishna Gabe Sukkah. What's unique about Sukkah? The Tani Pasula that we said it's puzzle. Or Ma'ishna Gabe Mavoi. And what's unique about a Mavoi? The Tani Takanta that we taught the solution, the way to fix it. Question mark right over there. Question mark. Sukkah, the Gemara answers. Sukkah, the halachas of Sukkah, the araisa, they are the araisa. You correct on the side the halacha l'Moshe Sinai. The measurements for Sukkah are halacha l'Moshe Sinai. That's important to know.
What's not like this exactly?
About what?
So it's all much how high it has to be, so it's not what's the argument here? Alright, 20, 11, 10. If it's not he didn't. What does it mean? And he said it has to be lower than 20.
Yeah. Yes.
So what's the argument later on? Where it has to be.
What do you mean later on?
He had in the section the next part. He said if it's. I don't know. Everyone's masking has to be.
Right.
Even the Mishnah. Right?
So- Now the Gemara says over here.
According to Yehuda, right? It's like he's asking if it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai, then how could Yehuda argue on the share?
It's from Yechavusa.
So it could be that it's a very good question. You know, before asking a very good question, he's saying that no, he's saying start. He's saying it's a halacha Moshe Sinai. What's the machlokes?
argue what the halacha
They can. I believe that's what it is. They're arguing about this point exactly. How
Doesn't that take away from that the whole halacha Moshe Sinai? Halacha Moshe Sinai that's handed down person after person.
You just
So if there's a machlokes about that,
If you want to jump the gun, you could just say pshat is because the argument is what you have to see.
Ah.
Or how far you see.
So halacha Moshe Sinai would be no. Rabbi Chaim is saying good word. Rabbi Chaim is standing good. The halacha Moshe Sinai is that you have to let's say see the schach.
But that's only
So now the
that's
subject.
only according to one person.
No.
No.
We're going to see. We're going to see.
We have to make a rule about jumping.
Okay, 1 second. So, boys, look over here. So, Maishna, here we go. Look at my answers over here. Sukkah deraisa, Sukkah that the halachas are deraisa, tani pesula. We can say pesula. You know why? Because you can write this on the side. Since we already know the halachas, we can say this doesn't fit. It's possible. You hear that? Everybody say, I want you to hear what the Gemara is answering. If I'm coming to teach you halacha, I say, and I want to teach you a sukkah has to be 20 amos high. If I'm teaching you for the first time, I don't tell you, if your sukkah is 20 amos high, it's possible. First you'd say, your sukkah has to be 20 amas high. You teach me the halacha. Then, I say, if it's not, then it's possible. So sukkah, that the raisa, it has to be 20 amas high. So right now I'm telling you, that if it's not 20 amas high, it's possible. So sukkah, the raisa, sukkah, that the halachas are the raisa, 20 basula. Because since we already know the measurement, you have this Rabbi saying? Since we already know the measurement, the Mishnah is saying it's possible because it doesn't fit with what we know already. Is that a clear point? Eli, you hear that at that point?
Anyone explain it differently?
Yes.
So I want you to hear this. Rabbi, hear this point?
It just sounds different.
1 second.
Yaakov, I can't hear you.
Yeah, he said that too.
1 second. A sukkah, if you know the halachas, Rabbi Yitzi, if you already know from the Torah, let's say from the Torah that it has to be 20 amas high, less than 20 amas, excuse me. So then the Mishnah could say, if it's not 20 amas, it's possible. Because we know the halachas already. So you say, if you're not conforming with that halacha, it's possible. Correct? A mavoi, that Mishnah is teaching us the halachas. We don't even know how tall it should be. So you're not going to say, 20, it's possible. First tell me, 20, what do I do if it's 20? Is it good, not good? Lower it. It's not good yet. Because I'm teaching the halachas. If we don't know the halachas, you don't say possible. So sukkah deraisa, sukkah that the measurements are deraisa, tani pasula. Because I'm saying that you don't fit. It doesn't fit with the measurements that we know. And you already know the halachas. You know from the Torah the halachas of sukkah. Yeah, you know the measurements from sukkah. So then I say,
We only know deraisa, not derabanan.
right, exactly. We know the deraisa.
And
So
Mavoi is the rest, they're wrong.
Derabanan. So you don't know. So we don't know okay. Yeah. 1 second. I want to everything. I beg you. Something's not 1,000% clear. Tell me, because everything has to flow and be perfect. Sukkah deraisa Rabbi say sukkah that the halachis, the measurements of sukkah deraisa, it's deraisa tani pasula. We could say pasula, and you can write on the side because since we already know the measurements. We can say now that it's possible. It doesn't fit with the measurements that we know. Comma, put a comma there. Mavoi, but a mavoi to Rabbanon. That's the Rabbanon. And we first learned the halachis in the Mishnah. A mavoi, we're first learning the halachis in the Mishnah.
Here is the wrong.
The mavoi. It's a rabbanon concern that you're going to carry. It's a gezeira the rabbanon that you're going to if we allow you to carry in the mavoi, you'll come to carry in the Rishus Harabim. So not all dinei erev, but a lot of dinei erev is the rabbanons because we're worried that you're going to come to do a deraisa that you're carrying on Shabbos.
The hecker was the rabbanon.
That's what we're talking about.
This is the hecker. This is the erev itself.
No, this is the hecker. That kaira, that beam that you're putting across. That is a reminder. Oh no! I'm going from the courtyard to the Rishus Harabim. So let's get that clear. Mavoi the rabbanon mavoi that the whole the halacha of this beam is a rabbanon, and we first learn about it in the Mishnah. Right? Is that clear? And we first learn about it in the Mishnah. Tani takanta. We first say the remedy, the way to fix it. Because we want to teach you the halachas. Good? Tani takanta, because we want you to first know the halachas. We don't want to say pasula. That's not giving me the clarity I need to know. You're teaching me halacha. You don't say pasula. Explain to me. Lower it. It's not good yet. Lower it, and then I'll know. So Tani takanta. Look, I just want you to see how Rashi says. Look at Rashi. Tani takanta. It's a few lines under where we're holding. Tani takanta. It's not possible to say a lashon apostle. How can you say apostle? The man pastor, whoever made this apostle, koidim shenisas mishazu. Before we had this mishnah, we would have known it's apostle. This is the first time we see this halacha. Klar, stark. So good. Gewaltig Rabbi say. Stark. I remember this. This is a nekuda that it's important to have klar. Says the Gemara weiter. The Gemara is now say, look, Gemara's going to go the other way. Until now, we were trying to explain how come the Erevin didn't say Pesula. But let's think the other way. How come by Sukkah over here, we don't say you might lower it? Why is it preferable to say Pesula? If you say you might lower it, let's say by Sukkah. Why don't you say Sukkah, you might lower it? Until now, we were explaining why Erevin didn't say Pesula, right? Right? Until now, we were saying, why didn't it say Psula? The Gemara now is going the other way. And maybe Sukkah, why didn't Sukkah say you might lower it? And that way it would be similar with Erevin.
My answer is the same term. Because they're rice and they're one.
True, but you might could also work. There's nothing wrong with saying you might by Sukkah.
If
And now-
that's good, you just have to lower it. Here it's not.
Okay, but that's a separate. You get Tosfos and that's. But 1 second, just 1 second. Look over here. Be 1 second.
And jump again.
Look over here. Everybody, look over here. V'ibay seimo. Look at this. V'ibay seimo. Off one. V'ibay seimo. Off. Or you could say, be deraisa. Until now, we thought that every time it says deraisa, we always say psula. But deraisa, when it comes to halachas that are deraisa, not sukkah, all over. Be deraisa, even when we discuss deraisa, nami tani takanta, we also say the way to fix it. Generally, we do say it. It's not. We thought it's a rule that you always say pesula. No, it's not a rule. B'deraisa, hear this? B'deraisa is not sukkah. B'deraisa means generally. Generally, by deraisa, nami tani takanta will also teach the way to fix it. So why by sukkah didn't we do that? Miu, however, sukkah, by sukkah, the nefishi milsa. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of halachas in the Mishnah. We have 4 different halachas about sukkah. If it doesn't have 3 walls, there's that. The nefishi milsa, there are a lot of details, a lot of halachas. Right? Pasuk v'tani, we taught in a clear manner. Pasuk v'tani, we taught in a clear manner. Pesula. Generally, by deraisas, we would also say the way to fix it. But sukkah, we have 4 things in our Mishnah. It starts getting so long, the Mishnah. Sukkah, that's 20 amos, lower it. If it has 4 walls, take away 1 wall. If it's more sun and shade, we don't want, the Gemara Chazal say that you should teach your Talmidim in a short, concise way. Our Mishnah wouldn't be concise if we did that. Mavoy, put a comma over there, Mavoy. However, Mavoy, the loy nafesh milei, there aren't a lot of halachas in that Mishnah. There's only 2 halachas, by the way. Tani tekanta, we taught the way to fix it up. Yeah, stark? Tani tekanta, put a period over there, they did it for us already. Okay, I wanted to get, I think, can we do 5 more lines?
Yes.
Should you push the 5 lines? Let's push the 5 lines.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, that was it? No, we have to do 2 block chazara tonight.
All right, let's think about.
Huh? Mina hanamili. Okay, here we go, Rabbi Shai. Mina hanamili. How do we know that a sukkah has to be? You tell me, you know from the Torah. How do you know from the Torah that your sukkah has to be 20 amos? Has to be less than 20 amos. Mina hanamili. How do we know that the sukkah has to be less than 20 amos? How do you know that the sukkah has to be less than 20 amos? We're asking obviously on the Tanakama. Rabbi Yehuda holds you can go above 20 amos. But I know that the sukkah has to be under 20 amos. I know the sukkah has to be under 20 amos. Amar Rabba. This is the first opinion in the Gemara. Rabba says, Amar Kra, because the pasuk says, Leman yedu derisechem, so that your generation should know, all the generations should know. This is where we learn the commandment to eat the sin the sukkah. Ki besukos hayshavtis bnei Yisrael. Period. That in the sukkahs I sat bnei Yisrael. I placed them in the sukkahs. I sat them in the sukkah. So we are commanded that we have to sit in the sukkah, and we have to right. And if command Laman Yidu that we should know, all the future generations should know that I sat Klais on the sukkah. So when you're sitting in the sukkah, it has to be with this awareness. Why are you sitting in the sukkah? to remind yourself that Hashem sat us in Sukkahs. Right? You're sitting in the Sukkah to remember that you sat in the Sukkah. At Esrim Amma, until 20 Ammas high, Adam Yedeya Shudar B'Sukkah. A person knows that he's sitting in the Sukkah because his eyes will reach the Sach. A person's vision covers until about 20 Ammas high. You'll see, you see, right?
Ends up in the Sukkah.
Lamala me'esrim amma, taller than 20 Ammas.
You go to the rabbis Sukkahs, they're huge.
Taller than 20 Ammas. Ein Adam Yedeya, a person does not realize Shadar B'Sukkah, that he's singing the Sukkah. And I do want to point out something. I've walked into huge Sukkahs, even average Sukkahs, they're very high. And if they want to have this massive chandeliers hanging, I wouldn't have looked up. And you wouldn't have noticed, it's a building, it's like a warehouse. And they take the roof and then you see this massive, huge, not shachmanis, huge,
Fruits hanging down.
yeah, huge decorations, nice sukkah over there. So,
Or Sukkah Zayin al Zayin, 20 on the side, you don't see it.
that would
But
probably work
that's
on the
not
next year.
Zayin, you won't be able to
Wait,
see
1
it.
second, hold on. I would tell Rabbi say, 1 second. L'ma'ala me'esam higher than 20 amas, ein adam yedei shadar b'sukkah mishum deloy shalta ba'ena, because his eyes don't reach there. His eyes don't scan. That his eyes don't reach 20 amas high. Rabbi say shechianu v'kimanu v'zech at the start of the first parak with everybody here. Hashem should help Shemis one day. Everybody should be every day. 8:45 fire.
Snowstorm tomorrow.
Everybody lives here.
Realistic bracha, come on.
Guys, there's not such thing as
Wait.
bad weather.
If I
Just
make it
bad
here,
gear.
1 second.
I think
Wait,
you'll be able to make it.
Wait 1 second. If I can make it, then we can make it.
You have all-wheel drive.
We're all here.
Oh, not everyone has a
No, you
you
don't
have.
have drive.
Hey,
We don't want to put you into,
Boy, side, Bishram and Shalom for that.
Yeah.
Hello, come on.